Hello, everybody. Happy Adar, or tonight it starts, I guess. We're in the last little moment of Shvat and heading into Adar. Um, like Josh says, we have this tradition now, not just here, but in all places, that at the beginning of Adar, my teaching, whether or not you see me here or other places, is a laughing meditation, which we are going to get into. All 133 of us online in our own little rooms, and the people who are watching on recording later will try. But before we get into it, I want to just pause and talk a little bit about Adar. Um, and if that scared you, about laughing meditation, don't worry, we're going to do it together and hopefully it will be full. Um, let's talk about joy. So, I just admitted to Josh that I do not feel like, wow, I am like exuding joy. And I just like ran to my wife in our kitchen and she was like, what's going on? And I was like, it's Dar. I'm gonna do laughing meditation, but I don't really feel that joyful today. It's just not like coming with ease. So just want to see show of hands. Anybody else feel like you're just kind of like, oh my God, joy? Like that's not exactly where I'm coming from. I see some hands coming up. Okay, we're not going to call on you, but AI is thinking we are. But looking around the Zoom room and seeing that I'm not alone, I feel heavy-hearted. I feel like there's a lot going on. And for me and my body, I think for all my friends here know that I'm now like 34 weeks pregnant, which is extremely joyful, but I am so tired. And so it's not always like, wow, I'm like so happy. It's like, well, how many more weeks till I get my body back to me, to be mine? So yeah, just kind of going through a lot. Also, living in Washington, D.C. and being in this country and being Jewish, it's been quite a complicated couple of years, and even more recently, just a lot. So if you're feeling any of that, maybe we'll just take a deep breath in and let a big sigh out. Maybe another one of those, but like a real audible, like, oh my gosh, there's a lot. Yeah. So, um, maybe you're like, wow, no, I'm feeling totally aligned. I'm ready to like bring the joy, in which case we really, really need you. And it would be considered a huge mitzvah if actually you helped us really carry, because the teaching says that when a dark comes, joy increases, and that it's actually on all of us to help bring that joy. And we can do that through a lot of different ways. Um, and I want to crowdsource. Josh knows I love to do this, but just some ways that you think that you could bring some joy to the world, yourself, your home, your community, your animals, your family, your neighbors, your school, your grandparents, like past generations, previous to come, people to come, any way that you could just increase joy in your immediate surroundings. And I would love to just see what everyone's going to be doing. What are your shalach manos? What is going to be happening here? And we can see that these things do not need to be grand gestures. Smiling at somebody could increase joy. Giving compliments, sharing writing, dancing, feeding my horses. These are some great answers, and I think they're profound because they're small acts. Some of them might not even take more than a second. And so it's totally within reach that each of us could do that. And even if we're not feeling like just like the most exuding fountain of joy, there is something really beautiful about starting a chain reaction of joy. And just a reminder, I did not invent this wisdom. This is the Hebrew calendar in its finest. It has an entire month, and next year will be a leap year. It has 2 months in that case, where it is saying no matter what is going on, because we know that there have been good years and then bad years. There have been hard times and easier times. No matter what it is, one of the 12 themes that we get to anchor into and really, really explore is this idea of joy. And that we're in this month, and that there's going to be a lot for us to learn about our relationship to joy in this month. One teaching that has stuck with me for the past couple of years is from Rabbi Alan Liu and of blessed memory about this idea of joy. And we found him when we were after 10-7 on our team, thinking about how could we possibly talk about joy when we're feeling this way that we are. And we found some teachings from Rabbi Liu where he says that joy is any feeling fully felt, any experience we give our whole being to. Any moment of our life fully inhabited can be the source of great joy. And I'll put it here in the chat um, so that you can have it too. Because I know that our mindfulness practitioners here, we're noticing what arises without judgment. We're allowing it to be and noticing how it shows up in our bodies and what it could do for our spiritual life. So, with that, this idea that joy does not need to be like super peppy happy all the time. Or like, look at me, I'm delivering cookies to your house every day. It could also be just being really honest with where you are, which is exactly how I started my call with you, where my truth is. And then doing my very best to lean towards what the rabbis teach us, no matter how dark our days or bright our days, that it's on all of us to help spark the joy and bring it up to the world. So with that, we are going to settle into our meditation today. I'm going to explain a little bit about it. If you're not into it, then just mute me and drop into your practice. And about 55, we're going to do the Morris Kaddish, and you'll be right there with us. But if you're willing to go for the ride, then I want to explain what we're going to do so that you don't have to think about it anymore. We're going to pause. We're going to drop into our breath and our bodies. We're going to do a quick little body scan and just notice. And then when I say go, we are going to laugh, pretend laugh for 1 minute. Um, and I actually think I might need Harry to help us unmute for one of them to just hear everybody pretend laugh for that minute. And then we're at 1 minute, we're going to shut it off and we're going to pause and we're going to have a couple of minutes of silence to just notice what's coming up in our bodies or what's coming up in our minds and just being with it and feeling the energy of it. And then I'm going to say laugh, and we're going to laugh again, and we're going to go for another minute. And then we'll pause and be in our body scan until the end. And we'll, of course, we'll end with some gratitude for this moment. Does that sound like a plan? So we're going to do two big laughter practices, and they're going to last a minute, which feel like a long time, but they really zoom by. And now I want to just teach for a second about what a laughter, um, what does it mean to pretend laughed? So what it means is that you literally just start pretending that you're laughing like the funniest thing ever. And you can use your hands, you can like slap your knee, you can like throw them up in the sky, like really pretend that you are on the stage and you are just like going for it and trying to laugh. And if you actually end up laughing all the way, let it ride and let it just be silly and not make sense. Okay? So, Harry, I know that you're our MC. I forgot to tell you that I was going to need you to unmute people, but hopefully that will be okay when I say go. And actually, if you want to make your screen really, really big and then see if you can see a lot of different people, I know I'm spotlighted, but it's kind of fun also to see people's faces like really pretend to laugh, especially that really serious meditator that you see every day on here. Now, let's see how serious they can be about their laughter. All right. So for now, drop into your body. Allow your eyes to close. Just get into your breath, your source of light, your connection to the divine. Notice anything that's going on in your body. Find your intention for what got you to the Zoom call today. Inhaling and exhaling. Noticing your feet on the ground, your legs and the part of your body that's touching the chair, your chest, heart space, your neck and your shoulders. We'll take a deep inhale, and a big exhale. And Harry, when you can unmute people. And on the count of 3, we're going to start our laughing meditation. 1, 2, 3.
Funny.
I guess you're doing great. Justin. Oh, a deep shout.
Love it.
And settle into your meditation. Inhaling and exhaling. Getting into your body. Noticing what the image of the divine looks like right now. Noticing the legs, the stomach, the heart space. Your breath. We'll take 3 breaths together and then we'll drop in again. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling. Big exhale and inhale. Try to slap your knee to see what that's like. Take a deep inhale. Sigh out.
Oh, yes.
Your body. Come back to your breath. Noticing what joy infused into the body is like. I'm going to close our meditation today. We're going to take our hands together, warm them up, rub them together, and place them anywhere on your body that you think need a little extra healing, love, joy. And just let it be warm and let it feel good. And increase joy to that part of your body. When you're ready, you can find your breath, find your body, allow your eyes to open, lean in and see someone else's eyes. Give them a little Adar smile. And before we go into Morris Kaddish, would love to, again, just to open the chat and give people space to just type in what it felt like in the body to increase joy on purpose. And just see what's going on, in our own bodies, but also in the wisdom of the Hebrew calendar. We're coming out of spring, coming into spring. We're coming out of winter. The sun is setting at like 6 o'clock, which is a normal time. And maybe this is supposed to help us open up a little bit so that we can be ready for next month, which will be freedom. Chodesh Tov, everybody. And remember, on the full moon of this month, we have Purim, and you all know what to do. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Sarah. I want to invite everybody to stick around after we're done with Kaddish for some time for Q&A and reflection. Right now, uh, if you are remembering somebody, a loved one today, maybe you're able to do so with, if it's not inappropriate, a little more joy than you might have had 20 minutes ago. If you want to enter their names, anyone you're remembering, in the chat. Harry will put thanks, Harry, put the text of the Mourner's Kaddish on, and you're welcome to unmute and join me in reciting the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal, v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah,
Amen.
be'alma divrei chilutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayei chol v'yomei chol, v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala ubizman kariv v'imru amen.
Yehi
Shmei
Shemei Rabba
Rabba
Mevorach
Mubarach le'alam
Amen.
ula'almei almaya.
Asay Alam Olamei
Barach v'yishtabach v'yit'ar v'yitramam v'yitnasei.
Amaya.
Yithadar v'yit'ale v'yit'al Shemei dekudja brichu. Kula mikol birchata v'shirata. Shpechata v'nechemata da'amiranda alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim v'aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom. V'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru.
Amen.
Okay. So thank you, everybody. We'll bring Sarah back here. And wonderful. Okay. So just a reminder, if you'd like to ask a question, it's always helpful if we have a question in all caps that we can see the question. You're also very welcome to talk to each other in the chat. That's always a great part of this conversation, just an invitation, a request to practice Shmirat HaDibur, mindful speech. Good shorthand is no fixing, advising, saving, or correcting. Speak in first person. And also, I didn't get a chance to say, and if you can't stick around, say Tchem L'Shalom, farewell, and we'll see you back here, tomorrow whenever you can join us. So, fantastic. We got people playing Jewish geography on the chat. It's great. Uh, so many great reflections that are coming in here, about the experience, about the experience. And I loved seeing someone, I lost it somewhere in the thread here, but said the openness, or someone also said, I couldn't actually bring myself to lie. I felt more open, but I was still sort of constricted. And the language of constriction is so interesting, right? Given Pesach coming up down the road a little bit, but, that we moving out of that. And it's almost like, Sarah, that, the calendar is priming us to like do the warm-up activities to be able to leave constriction. And I think of Rashi talks about when the Israelites can't hear, it says that the Israelites couldn't hear the message from Moses because of their kotzer ruach, their like literal constrictedness of breath. And like when you're overworked, when you're just so burdened down and oppressed that just breathing is hard. And so here, this is this invitation to breathe in a, in a joyful way almost. So maybe that's a place to start. If you want to pick up, if you want to pick up from there, what that's like for you, this spring, you were starting to allude to it at the end also, of like this runway that we're building up to almost.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's right on. I think there's also a way to look at it where like if a we have 4 New Years, and Nisan is like the birthday of the Jews, so it's technically the beginning of the year of Jewish peoplehood. And it actually starts with order. You like have structure. You have to like lean at a certain angle degree on the fourth glass of wine to have a certain thing, and it's like do everything in such an order in order to get where you are. And if that's the case, if that's the first month, then Adar is the last month of the year, and it's like chaos. It's like, get drunk and be merry and throw things and scream and dress however completely uninhibited and be like completely unorderly. And so that's another way of thinking about
Mm,
what could happen this month. But yeah, I think that like right now what I'm kind of experiencing also like DC, it's been pretty snowed in. Like, oh my God, we got like really hit with this ice storm.
yeah.
We didn't have school for 6 days. Like it was crazy in there. And then the snow is like starting to finally kind of melt here. And that feeling of like spring around the corner and lightness and like what does it take to actually loosen up? It felt like a new way of thinking about Adar, which is to like get out, get outside. I was telling my brother, he's like, "Who have you been seeing recently?" I'm like, I don't think I've seen like any of my friends. I've been like
Mm,
in the house, trying not to like slip and fall on the ice. And now that it's gonna be
mhm,
warm weather, I'm like gonna bust out and get out there. So I kind of felt like that was kind of the seasonal thing that was happening, that Adar is kind of forcing itself upon us in a way. Um,
mm,
so that's what's been going on. Um,
mm,
and by the way, like mourners, for all those in mourning, there's no prohibition against laughter. It's actually a very important part of grief and coping. And I remember last year I had a really interesting conversation, maybe it was with you, Josh, about the tears of joy and tears of sadness, and that they're the same tears.
mhm,
And it's the same physical reaction of your body, and they're so actually close together. And I see some people in the comments here talking about how it welled up emotions, the laughter, and that, when you're mourning someone, you're supposed to in Shiva be remembering them and tell stories about them. And for sure, there's moments of laughter where it's just like, we've had a really hard day. It's so somber, and then someone tells a funny story, and everyone just is like rolling around the floor, and it's the best medicine of the moment. So I did think about whether or not this was an appropriate time to bring laughter into the world, given just the barrage of all the things going on. And I was like, yes, it is. And it's what the rabbis and what, the wisdom and the mystics, everyone who's ever thought about the Hebrew calendar is like, do not forget Adar. And if it is a leap year, do it twice. That's how important it is.
yeah,
So wanted to bring it forward to us because I know that other people are feeling like me.
yeah, yeah. And it's interesting also that like I think the statement in the mission is Mishenichnas Adar Marbim B'Simcha, like when Adar enters, we increase in joy, right? Which is, and laughter is one route to that, but the joy, you were moving, I think, towards the Alan Liu teaching, right? Joy is an even fuller sense of being fully with something. So I think a lot of us might find that genuinely in our meditation practice like is a joyful experience to be. It's not that we're routinely like it's funny, but it's like this deep sense of like joy, um And a lot of the things when you started, just asking where's joy arising. And so laughter is one very important ingredient of it, and that there are other, forms of that. And the full inhabiting of whatever we're experiencing, be feeling that feeling fully. I think that's such a wonderful quote. And you were sort of getting at that, it's this time of um, we give ourselves the permission during this month to be a little more unburdened, right? A little less constrained, and just be able to feel the feelings, feel it fully.
For sure.
Um,
And I think
yeah.
that's a really good point. Like laughter is a version of it. And there's all these different teachings about different types of joy, right? We have like Simcha, Sason, Rina, Osher,
Hmm.
Oneg, all these different things that are kind of giving us, if you think about like a stream, kind of like veering off in different corners, like take your canoe down whatever path is going to be right for you. But to make sure to do it and to bring other people along for the ride with it.
Yeah. I love this point that just came up. Being able to laugh at myself has been an unburdening source of growth. Um, when I was 23 years old, I think, and trying to figure out like what to do with my life, I made a list of things that I wanted to be able to say about the work that I did. And I guess I was a little prescient because it's basically still more or less the same list. And at the very top of the list, I had like 7 things. And at the very top of the list was, I want to make sure I'm working with people that can laugh at themselves, and that can help me laugh at myself. So the ability for us not to take ourselves too seriously is so important, and it's frankly like one of the superpowers of the Jewish people. I think that we're able to laugh at ourselves is huge. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's an Indigo Girls quote that um, they're their own kind of non-Jewish rabbis. They say like I want to laugh at myself, otherwise I'd cry my eyes out.
Mhm. Hmm. Yeah,
That's
beautiful.
I think that's nice. And also like, I don't know. I have a 2.5-year-old, so there's a lot of silliness going on in my life,
Hmm.
and I get to watch every single human being of any age interact with a 2.5-year-old, and it's always immediate silliness. It like pulls it out. So, um, if you need some extra inspiration, find yourself some families that have little kids, and you'll be like hopping around like a kangaroo, doing things that you never thought you'd be doing. And it will bring a deep sense of joy, maybe that sort of Osher feeling of like a deep fullness of joy. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
I see Julie's question here about why is Adar the month that we repeat in a leap year? You want to take that one?
I think it's pretty simple. And the rabbis were just like, we have another month, and let's give them the month that's the most joyous one. I mean, that we're, if you, there's a lot of stuff around Judaism, but I think at its essence, it's about being like the Alan Vlue version of joy, just like fully present, and that's what we deserve. Like, why would do an extra 2 months of grief? Who wants that?
Hmm.
Or who wants an extra 2 months of the hard stuff or the out? Like, imagine doing 2 months of Elul plus Tishrei. Like, oof, that'd be really tough. That it's like life's meant to be enjoyed.
Hmm.
I think that's kind of what the rabbis were thinking. I don't know, Josh, if
Yeah.
you have an actual
There
text.
could, I mean, yeah, that's a beautiful explanation, and I would endorse that. I think there's also probably a technical reason, very technical, which is that Nissan is, like you said, we have 4 New Years. And and Nissan is really the first month in, biblically, Nissan is the first month. And so when you're looking at the calendar, I mean, there's something intuitive about saying, oh, we'll just do the last month twice. Add one to the last one and you make the year longer. Um, but of course, that's not what we do on the secular calendar. For whatever reason, we take February and add a day. February is short to begin with. I don't know. But anyway, I think it was the last one. I think that there's a technical reason, and that is not mutually exclusive with the much, richer reason that I think you're offering, Sarah, is like, and if you're going to pick a month, this is a great month to repeat,
Yeah.
like why not? So yeah, I think that's great. Absolutely. Um, scrolling through here. Uh, here we go. Um, just trying to see if we missed any questions.
I have a lot of personal questions about how old my daughter is and how far along I am that are private messages to me.
Okay.
So I'll just answer that I said my daughter Zahava is 2.5, and my baby girl number 2 is arriving in like 4 or 5 weeks. So you may or may not see me for Nissan. If you don't see me, you'll see one of my teammates.
Yeah.
We are getting ready over here. And actually just, you know, it was funny because why I caught my wife in the kitchen. We were like in our constant passing of should we name this job? Um, and my grandfather is named Felix, which means joy. And we were talking about that name and, thinking about Ashkenazi passing down names. Obviously, it's a girl. We're not going to name her Felix, but my there was Felix and Frida, and they both of them actually have origins in that name. So I was thinking about that a lot recently.
Mhm. Someone said suggested Felicia, Aliza. I mean, there's a lot of there's
Does Elisa
directions you
mean
can
joy
go.
too? Yeah, okay. Well,
Aliza is joy.
feel free
Yeah.
to private message me names. I'll
Yeah.
accept those.
Or just joy. That's a good
Joy,
name.
yeah. We didn't want to go too
So
literal, but yeah.
yeah.
Do
Um,
we have any other like intense questions? I'm so not used to it, Josh. We're usually like
I
in
know it's like weird. It's like,
speakers.
I see this observation from Jerry. Um, Hazorim b'dima berina yiktoru. They that sow in tears shall reap in joy. Rina also, there you go, right? Um, and those who sow in tears will reap in joy is a promise from Psalm 126, indicating that painful, difficult, or sacrificial work done in faith will eventually yield a joyful, abundant reward. It represents the agricultural and, by extension, spiritual principle that perseverance through suffering leads to ultimate triumph and blessing. That is a very articulate thought. Thank you. And um, and I think that it's a really helpful, it's just a really helpful reminder also of, yes, as you said, the tears and the joy commingle. The tears of sorrow and the tears of joy, right, really ultimately have their roots in the same place. And there's a version of like there's a very problematic, difficult teaching in the Talmud about Purim, right, that one should get to the point where ad lo yada, that you don't distinguish between, you can't distinguish between, blessed is Mordechai and cursed is Haman. And it's a little unclear, like, what does that mean? I'm certainly not one who believes like you should get so drunk that you lose your moral compass. I don't think that that's what it's saying. Um, but I think maybe it's allowing ourselves to feel that fully, that, that the commingling of these emotions, is present potentially is an interesting idea, of
Someone
one way of
asked about the
looking at it.
connection between Purim and or Adar and joy, or Purim and the sense of joy.
Someone
Judy,
asked about that.
Judy asks, please connect Purim with a sense of joy.
Oh, Um, well, you have this. I mean, we have the verse in. There's a few different ways. There's a verse in that come to mind in the Megillah in Esther. La Yehudim hayita ora v'simcha v'sason v'ikar. Right, that the Jews experienced light and joy, right, and gladness, all of that. Um, and so part of the commemoration of Purim, the reason we give gifts to each other, the reason we give gifts to the poor, etc., the reason we make a meal is like it's supposed to be a joyful time that um, yeah, and bringing joy to others is a part of that joy. Um, so I think that those are two big ones. I think they're like deep in the holiday but related to our previous point, I mean, there's also, it goes so deep into the precariousness of existence, right? Because it's hanging by a thread. in a lot of ways. And so there's a lot of fear and a lot of anxiety that's present, a lot of sadness that's present, and also a lot of joy. So it's pretty deep, I think. Yeah. If it's not a paradox, it's probably not true. Andrea, that's great. Suitable for framing. That's really good. If it's not a paradox, it's probably not true. It's awesome. Read it somewhere. All right. I'll have to look that one up. All right. Well, Sarah, Bisha'a Tova. Hope
Thank
that
you. You guys
everything
may or may
goes
not see me for Nissan.
okay. Well, I hope everything is well and healthy and smooth. And if we see you, great. And if we don't see you, we'll look forward to hearing good news.
Thank you.
And everybody, thank you for
First
being here
change.
today. Okay.
I am wishing everyone to start lots of the spiral of joyfulness in their communities and in their families for the next moon cycle, as
Fantastic.
our rabbis and ancestors commanded.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, everybody. Hope you'll join us again tomorrow or whenever you can. Thanks to Harry. Okay. Bye-bye.